Hey friends, Andrea here. I've been thinking a lot about making a video to talk about some of my 2021 resolutions, I guess you could call them, and maybe like crafty resolutions. And part of the reason why I made this channel was to help me to focus on what was most important to me about crafting, which is my passion, and to not get caught up in like the FOMO of I need to have this latest product or, building up this huge collection of things that I end up not having the time to use and feeling guilty about. So, over the last couple of years, I've tried to practice just working on my art, my crafts, and using the materials I have. And in the last couple of years, I've created a couple of like challenges, I guess I would call them, to help me sort of condense down or distill down what it is that's most important to me about this. And I talked in my live stream last week about sort of what creating means to me and how it's sort of like a way of honoring my father's memory. My dad passed away when I was a kid. So my dad was an artist and he passed his creative talents and gifts onto me, or instilled a love of art in me as a kid. And I have just continued to develop my interest in pretty much everything artsy, craftsy. So in maybe like 2018, 2019, I decided to try and challenge myself to use up my stash. And so as I was kind of thinking about this year, what do I want to do that's different than that? Because I've continued to hold myself to that challenge, and I haven't found it that difficult. It's just been one of those things where I feel like I'm overwhelmed with the amount of different things I can make, and I get stuck in a pattern of like, let me just make the things that I'm familiar with or comfortable with, and not like challenging myself even further to develop my skills, I guess. And I almost want to develop my skills in a way that is going to make the use of the materials more rewarding than something like I want to make a card and I'm just going to cut my piece of paper to fit the card and put a stamped sentiment and send it on out. That doesn't mean that this simple card is bad or ugly or anything like that. It just means that this is something that is, I think, below my skill level. I've already achieved that level and I want to move myself up to the next level with the supplies and materials that I have. So maybe it would be creative stamping with more than one color, or creating my own background paper, or even creating some scenes on paper with my stamps, but just something that takes me onto another level, or even using like found materials like leaves and petals, flower petals, things like that. So anyway, I'm just sort of like rambling and brainstorming here, but I thought it might be helpful just as an exercise to get myself to really focus on what I want to do with this channel and with these creative practices, to just write down a list of things that I want to make sure I'm doing with my time and with my energy. So I know that I want to use my stash supplies. I'm sorry that my handwriting is difficult to read on the camera. It's a little small, but I'm writing down use stash supplies, and I'm just gonna write this down on this little notepad, and maybe I will put it on like a whiteboard or something above my workstation, just so I can look at it every day and remind myself what it is that I'm doing. But I want to use my stash supplies. I want to buy no new supplies. I have some caveats to that. I mean, my caveat to that would be I have an exception for buying new supplies if it means that it allows me to complete a project. Like I run out of glue, then maybe that's allowed to buy glue, for example. I'd like to try and avoid buying glue. Maybe if I run out of a glue stick, I'll use a tape runner. Or if I run out of tape runner, I'll use liquid adhesive. So that way I'm just continually using what I already have. But there's certain cases where certain type of glue is necessary and I might have to just go ahead and get it. I'd like to avoid buying things. I'm just trying to save money and focus on using the things that I have. But if it's necessary to complete a project, that's an excuse. So unless necessary. No, I can spell necessary. I think there's two. Anyway, no, I totally spelled that wrong now. It's Necessary. Is that right? Or I think there's an extra C in there. But anyway, so that's that. And then I do want to try to focus, like for card making, there's a lot of supplies and materials that I have so much of that I need to like really pare down those things. And so I guess that's part of using my stash supplies, but like if I was to certain things like using my existing stamps rather than buying new stamps, I will never run out of stamps. They're just, I mean, they'll stay in good shape. So, but things like washi tape or markers where they run out of ink, or paper for that matter, or using gems, those are things that I run out of, and then, you know, eventually I'd have to buy more of if I wanted to keep using those. So I want to try and focus on exhausting consumables, I guess is what I would call it. So exhaust consumables first is what I'm going to write here. So that means that my focus on my creative process, I'm going to put some intent behind it, and I'm going to look at what I have too much of or is taking up a lot of space and say, can I cut back on that, and how so? And if that means using it up until it's gone, or using up a good portion of it so that I only keep the amounts that I know I can cycle through in a reasonable amount of time, then that would be better for me than having like just an overwhelming amount of items that are there's too many choices. And then I'm sort of like this. I have this pile of washi tape. I don't need all this, like there's 2 colors of gold, and I mean, like, I just don't need all of these. I mean, they're cute. It's fun to have, don't get me wrong, but do I need to have a flat gold and a sparkly gold? Probably not. I mean, the fact that neither of these are used up tells me that I haven't really used them. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's something that I think I need to focus on. And then there's certain things that I need to make a card. Like, I need plain white paper, and I will have to keep buying plain white paper. That's not really a consumable. It's going to be an ongoing expense, like glue, or maybe my cutting blades or something like that, scissors. But at least that gives me a starting point for like being able to use more things. I also want to try more things. I don't necessarily feel like I want to stick to a specific pattern or a specific style of, like, for example, I'm just going with card making. I don't want to stick with one thing. I do want to experiment, like I said, with maybe I'll make my own paper. Maybe I'll use unusual materials. Maybe I'll follow a tutorial I've never tried before and show you guys what I learn. Because I think what I get stuck into when I sit down to create is I have 2 sort of modes. Either I'm in a mode of like, I just need to sort of process my feelings or like get out of my head a little bit, and I just need to like sit down and make some things and feel like sort of satisfied about, you know, having used my materials, or like just being able to use that creative energy, because sometimes that creative energy is like, it's like a nervous energy where like I need to release it. I feel kind of caught up, or tied up with all that creative juice, that creative energy that is just sort of like untapped. It's sort of like when you've been like stuck inside and you can't go out. That's how it feels. And you're just like, oh my God, I need to get out of the house. I'm, just frustrated. And so there's that energy of like, I just need to create something and like sort of release the hounds, release the block. But then there's this other type of creative energy that I have where I'm in the mindset that I need to experiment. I need to try new things. I want to be challenged. I want to be excited about it. And I want to learn something new from that process. And I think that I don't like being stagnant and like feeling that I just, have hit a certain level and never maximize or level up, I guess. And sometimes you can't do that without having another person teach you, like another master teach you a new technique, or being inspired by someone else. So that's kind of why I wanted to create this YouTube channel and build a little bit of a community behind, that experience of creating art. I think it's been, for me, a huge and amazing outlet for my emotions during this whole pandemic thing, but it was also an outlet for my emotions even before that. More so than anything else I've done or tried, more so than, the escapism of like drinking or whatever you want to try. Some people use drugs. More so than the kind of like methodical exercise that I might like go ride my exercise bike or go for a walk. Like that's sort of different because it might release like physical energy, but it doesn't release the mental energy that I'm trapped with. Like I need to do something with. And I think that mental energy is something that caused me to feel really trapped in school, which is a whole nother story for another time. But to go back to my list, exhausting my consumables, using stash supplies, buying no new supplies, I do want to focus a lot of my time, like I said, on developing new skills or developing existing skills, like leveling up. So I'm going to put that on as like challenging and skill building, skill developing. So I'm just going to put that. Another thing that I think is important for me is to feel like I'm, I guess, performing this as a charitable gift or an act of service, I guess you could say. And I think that in general, that like whole 5 languages of love thing, I think in general, I tend to be a person who tells people or lets people know that I love them by giving them gifts. And the gifts don't necessarily need to be tangible items, but, and I'm a big, I'm a big person who tells people when I care about them. Like, I tell my friends I love them. I don't care if it's awkward. I don't care. Like, I tell my friends that I miss them. I want them to feel like they're important to me, but that's off topic. But that's something that I think is important to me, is that I need to give this, I need to put it out in the world. So keeping a record using this YouTube channel of my projects and of my challenges and my successes and my failures is going to be my way of documenting this journey for other people to see, but also to give that as a gift so that other people will be able to find inspiration in that process, and maybe they will be able to identify or relate. Sometimes you just need to see what some other creative person is doing to get out of your funk and get out of that like creative block that you're in. I know I often watch other people's videos to get unstuck. When I have no motivation to create, I will watch other people's YouTube videos and what they make. And sometimes I don't go looking for any specific topic. I just like go and find my favorite creators that I subscribe to. So that's kind of what I would hope to have happen with this channel. I know for a fact that I have some specific supplies that I need to reduce or stash bust. And so I'm going to write those here, and that is yarn. I have so much yarn, you guys. I'll have to make a video because it's in like 2 different places in my house. It might be in 3 places. The second one is fabric. So I have a lot of fabric. As cool as it is to say that most of it is thrifted, it's embarrassing as well to say that like I have more things that I thrifted than I have actually used or worn. Like I tended at one point in my life to sort of use my shopping as a, I don't know, I think I maybe used it as a self-soothing. But anyway, I would go to the thrift store and buy items that I could say, oh, I could use this and repurpose it or remake it into something that I would be more likely to wear. And I had to stop doing that because I ended up with so much fabric or so much clothing that I couldn't repurpose. And sometimes I'd get halfway through like cutting it up and realize like this isn't going to work, or I don't like it anymore, or like the idea I had isn't going to work, and then I would just give up and I'd put it back. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm definitely not buying any more fabric. That's over with. I'm going to use what I have, of course, but I had to break that mentality of basically, you know, going out and buying things that needed to be repaired. For example, like clothing that needed to be repaired, like, oh, if I just fix the seam, it'll be perfect. I can't do that because I don't do it. I don't follow through on it. So I do have some repairs that need to be made, and some thrifted fabric that needs to be used up. But on top of that, I just have a ton of fabric. I used to work years and years ago. I used to work at a Joann's Fabric. So anytime there was fabric on sale that I liked, I would just buy a couple yards of it or buy a yard of it. And, you know, ended up with this ridiculous stash of fabric. And at the time I was going to fashion school. And so I thought like, I'll use this, but I didn't. And then it got stored at my mom's house for a super long time. And then my mom was like, you need to take this. So I ended up with a lot of fabric, which I used a good portion of it while I was making masks last year, but not all of it. So I need to use up some fabric, and I think the third one that I'm going to put in here is like paper crafting, because I want it to encompass not just paper, but like the materials, the supplies that are associated with paper crafting. And when I think of paper crafting, I also think of like brads, gems, stickers, washi tape, ribbon. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but like paper punch cutouts, like die cuts. So ink, glitter glue. Those are just like, that's like already almost 10 things just off the top of my head. So paper crafting is not just paper, it's like all those other things as well. And that seems to be the overwhelming source of, I guess, stash in my stash, because the yarn I can put in space bags and suck it up. The ones I'm not using can go like up in the storage, like long-term storage. And same thing with fabric, but the paper crafting, it's not like you can reshape how much space it takes up in your house, in your closets, in your bookshelves. So part of my idea that I had, why I wanted to try and complete this video or record this video, was that I think one of the things I want to do is create myself basically a card making challenge or paper crafting challenge. It doesn't have to be a card making challenge, but card making sounded like the thing that I could accomplish. That will be, I'm just going to make up the rules right now, but I can change them later if I need to. But I think I'm just going to say 1,000 cards. I want to make 1,000 cards in 2021. And I guess I'll put that here. 1,000 cards in 2021. That might mean I have to buy a whole bunch of stamps from the post office, but that's okay. I can do that. I can afford that. I know that there's certain like holidays coming up that I can prepare for, like Valentine's Day. I can make Valentine's cards. I've already been working on creating birthday cards to send to people. I have this app that I use called, I think it's just called Birthday app, that I put everybody's birthdays in. I have an address book app that I put everybody's addresses in, and that way I can just, when it's someone's birthday and I get the alert on my phone, I can go to the app, I can see what their address is, I can literally just grab the back of the envelope. Here, I have an envelope somewhere. But I'll just grab the back of the envelope, put the address down, slap a stamp on it, write on the inside of the card, a happy birthday message, and have it either ready to go or pop it into the mail, like right then and there when I get the alert. Saving me from having to feel like I'm a bad friend because I missed it or forgot. Not that like sending a card means I'm a good friend. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just the way I feel. I need to communicate to my friends that I care about them is by acknowledging that I appreciate their friendship and acknowledging their birthdays. So I know Valentine's, birthdays. I was thinking it might be fun to do like a big Christmas in July type thing. I don't really actually celebrate Christmas, like the Christian holiday. I'm kind of a secular person. I'm non-religious, but, I like sending holiday cards. I like being able to brighten someone's day or let them know I've been thinking about them in the holiday season, because that's the time of year when you start to talk about or think about your friends and family members and the good times that you've shared together. And it's approaching the end of the year and you're thinking about what wishes you have for them and your relationship with them in the new year. So it's a good time to sort of check in on your people. So anyway, if I can create some Christmas in July or some holiday cards in July, then I'll be ready in December to have like a whole truckload of cards to send out to all my people that I care about. Or maybe by then I'll actually be able to see people in person and I'll be able to just give my friends like a stack of handmade cards for them to send out to the people they care about. That would be a wonderful gift for me to give to people, is just share the wealth of my creations, my creativity with people I care about. So that's that. I can't think of anything. Oh, there's Mother's Day somewhere in there. Obviously I just have the one mom, but maybe I can send Mother's Day cards to the other mothers or people who've played a motherly role in my life and just acknowledge that I appreciate them. I guess this whole COVID thing has really showed me what I have to be grateful for, what I appreciate the most, and really what I appreciate the most is that I have these wonderful relationships that have shaped me to be a person that is as healthy and well-balanced as I am. And some of the ways that I've been able to be well-balanced and healthy is by having what I call good mental health hygiene and these creative practices that give me a good outlet. So anyway, Mother's Day, Father's Day, I give my mom a Father's Day card every year. But it would be nice to do the same idea with like giving a Father's Day card to all the people who played a fatherly role in my life. There's a couple that I can think of. And then all the just like cousins and uncles and that kind of thing that have kids to celebrate that they're good dads to their kids, their respective kids, not necessarily me. But that's nice. Maybe, I don't know anybody who's going to be graduating, but maybe I'll throw some of those in there if anybody's interested. And then in the summer months, it's pretty much just hello and hi and that kind of thing, type of sentiments or cards. But that's what the Christmas in July. I'll put this down here. And then you kind of move into the fall season, Thanksgiving, Halloween. I don't really celebrate things. I don't really celebrate Halloween. I don't dress up. I don't decorate, which might be like blasphemous to some people. It's just not something I really like have at my house when I was a kid. Yeah, I dressed up as a kid, but we didn't decorate. It was just not a thing. And then, and my boyfriend isn't really interested in what he calls like consumerist holidays that encourage people to buy things, or you have to buy decorations every year and blah blah blah. But anyway, he's not really what is influencing me behind why I don't decorate. I just really don't care. I don't have much of an interest in it. But there's some things there that maybe I'll create some fall themed cards. Gratitude is a big theme. I don't know. And then holidays and New Year. So I can kind of stick with like some of these themes throughout my 1,000 cards. And what I was figuring I would do, I'm kind of taking a page from this other YouTuber that I've mentioned in some of my other videos. Her name is Brittany. She has a channel called Turquoise Street, but she had a 100 bracelets challenge where she challenged herself to make 100 beaded bracelets just to use up some of her stash and like, kind of like bust her creative block. And I think it would be good for me to set myself a 1,000 cards challenge. I think it takes me like about an hour to create anywhere from 4 to 6 cards on average, based on my previous videos. And I think it would be cool if I could set aside time to make 1,000 cards this year. And I'm not going to count any cards that I've already made, but I will count cards where it's like, part of it has been done, but like the actual, card isn't yet complete. Or like this one where I have like the base paper cut out, I have everything kind of prepped, just needs to be assembled. I'm going to count those because the assembly part is part of the creative process and like the decoration of this card afterwards. But I also have like so much paper that needs to be used up that I'm going to need to do that. So, with that being said, I think what I'm going to do is just switch gears and do as many cards as I can make in the next 30 or so minutes with some of these cards that I've already got stacked up here and assembled. And they're already kind of ready to go. Like you can see this one is ready to go. I just need to glue it together and then I can maybe decorate it at a later date, or I can even decorate it now. Maybe I'll create a set of stack of cards that is pretty much just ready to be decorated and do them assembly line style, because then I'll need drying space. So for anything that has glitter glue or something like that. But that seems to me like it would be a good strategy, because what I need to do right now is I have all this kind of pre-cut paper. I have things that I need to use up. Like I set this aside to cut up and use on a card. I thought, oh, that's cool looking with like the gradient, and I could use that on a card somehow. And then I never did. This is a 2016 planner cover from the Dollar Tree. I never used the cover. Here's like a watercolor paper sample that I made with different types of brush strokes, and I thought, oh, I should save that to make cards out of it, and I never did. I have a couple of sheets here where I did some stamping too, and those could be used where it's just like testing out products. Here's an envelope that I have. I have some other things over here. They're like junk mail, pieces of junk mail. And then I have like other things over here where they're just like stacks of pre-cut card bases, where, I mean, not the bases, but the decorative papers. This is all just ready to go, and I just need to get it done. And then once I'm finished with that, I have an entire box full of paper that is ready to just be used up. It's like already selected and pulled out. So I'll be working through cutting that up and putting it on card bases. Those will be my more simple, just like getting the 1,000 cards done type of cards. But I pulled aside several stamp sets here that would help me kind of, I guess, get the juices flowing, if you will. Some of my favorites that I've used and some that I've never used before. Like, how cute is this? I bought this and I never once used it. So this is a cute little set. I think I've used only the deer stamp before. So there's another cute little set. But all of these stamps are just sitting around in my stash. And most of them I've only used a handful of times. I don't think I've ever once used this. It's still in the wrapper. And some of these are like Dollar Tree stamps, so they're not that great. But that's okay. I can still use them. Or if I hate them, I should get rid of them. So I have a bunch of stickers. Like, the sticker book is here. I have a little bit of a sticker obsession, so we won't go there. Maybe one day I'll clean up my sticker cart and I'll show you guys what's in there, but that'll be another video. So let's just make, I also have a stack. Look at this. This is a stack of cards and card bases that are just ready to go. They're ready to be glued down, and then maybe a stamped sentiment be put together with it. It doesn't have to be a stamped sentiment. Maybe I should get creative with that. Maybe I can create my own sentiments and print them off on my printer. Like, there's a lot of different options there. I could cut out some text from something. I mean, I've got options here, but I have all this stuff here, all this paper. So those are all just kind of sitting here ready to go. And I just want to use it all up. I feel like sitting here and staring at it all and not using it it sort of depresses me. It gets me in this like creative guilt where I feel like I have so much, or almost like just overwhelmed. I have so much that I need to use up that I can't just sit down and enjoy the creative process, because I feel like I've got to get through these before I can sit down and make these other ones that I really truly want to make. So I need to break that. And maybe I should spend time every day creating, spending an hour creating 4 or 5 cards. And that'll just kind of help me de-stash. I'll give away some cards to people. But at the same time, maybe I'll set aside another day that let's see what I make. I want to experiment with this material, this product. I want to see, maybe I want to make some watercolor cards. Why haven't I made watercolor cards? Because I have all this pre-cut stuff that I said I need to use up, and I started trying to assemble it, and then I said, well, if I start making watercolor cards, I'm going to have more stuff to my pile will get even bigger, my to-do list will get even bigger, and I don't want to go down that road, which sucks, because then as a creative person, you feel like you're being held back because you have this to-do list in front of you. It's like being an artist on a deadline for a client project and knowing that you really just want to work on your own project, but you can't because you have this project deadline looming. So you just have to buckle down and get it done. That's kind of how I feel about this stuff now at this point, which is an unfortunate situation, because at one point when I bought these materials, I was excited to use them. I was, looking forward to, I was imagining in my head the person I was going to be when I made them, and I was going to have fun with it. This is going to be a release of my creative energy, and that didn't end up happening, and now it feels like a chore rather than something I enjoy doing. I still strongly want to make sure I practice my art every day. So I'm going to put that up here, like try to make or create every day. I put every day. So I think that's going to be my final thing. But overall, I think I'm going to try and just stick to this list. I'll see where I end up with the 1,000 cards. If I decide to add another, like a beading challenge or another type of crafty challenge, maybe I'll do that. But this is the number one thing that's a challenge for me. And to me, cards are consumable. Like, most people get them, they throw them away, or then maybe they'll save them in a special book Like, I have a special book of cards that are sentimental to me. But it means that I create it and then I send it out into the world. I don't hang on to it, which with jewelry making is the case, because I'm, for the most part, making it for myself and then I'm wearing it. And so it's just gonna stay with me, just in a different form. So I'm not really getting rid of it. I still need to find a place to store it in my house. It's just not in my bead storage anymore. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but I do want to just kind of like share this with you, put it out there, and sort of this will be my thing to hold myself accountable. And at the end of the year, at the end of 2020, I'll check in with you and tell you how I did with these like resolutions. I will try to save this paper. Who knows what will happen to it, but I'll try to save it on my bulletin board so I can refer back to it. I'm gonna rewrite these things in a better format, and maybe I'll print it out on a piece of paper and like put it above my desk, or put it in a frame and put it on my desk, or write it on a whiteboard or something. But I'll do something. So that's all I'm gonna start with now. So I have my to-do list. I'm gonna stick this on my bulletin board for now, and then I'm gonna stop my video for a second and then come back with just assembly. And the assembly of my cards, I'm just gonna speed up. There's not gonna be a lot of talking about what it is I'm doing or why. So if you guys have questions, I'll let you put them in the comments, but I'm just gonna spend the next half of this video making cards, and you can just watch what I'm making, because most of these are just basic assembly. Like, I'm going to base down to the card and maybe putting like a sentiment that's been pre-stamped on top of it, and it's just gluing at that point. So I'll let you watch that, and I'll speed that one up. But I'd love to know in the comments if you guys have any resolutions for 2021 about your spending or your creative habits, or just creating a habit, not necessarily an art or creative habit, or like practicing an instrument maybe, or something like that. I'd love to know if you have any challenges for yourself about using up things that you already have, like stash busting. So I'm curious what other makers and creators are doing this year, because I think most of us have spent the whole last year kind of cooped up in our homes and like spending an inordinate amount of time looking at what we have and realizing like it's not the stuff that makes me happy, it's the process that makes me happy. Maybe that's just me, but that's what I've learned in 2020. So anyway, enjoy the card making, guys. Okay, so I just finished up. I did 10 cards. I'm not happy with all of them. You probably saw that when I was making them. There's one in particular that I can't stand, but that's how it goes. So, I'm not in love with this, but it works. I needed something to pop it off the page, so I did that. I used up some washi tape on this one, which I'm happy about. It's really simple. I think sympathy cards, for the most part, people aren't really focused on that card itself. It's more about the thought. I wanted to use up this cool washi tape. I hadn't even opened it before. It was brand new. So it just felt like this card needed something to spice it up. And like the white against the white would have just been kind of boring. And I tried to do like some edging with a marker just to kind of make it pop off the background, but it wasn't really enough. And I didn't want to like get out some colored cardstock and cut it out and stuff like that. I just don't have anything nearby. So the washi tape was what I did. And kind of a cool technique. Maybe I'll try it again. I hate this one. I don't know what to say about it, but like this, I mean, it started out okay, and then once I got to this part and started putting the shadow in, it was like, this is a mistake. It didn't work out. It wasn't quite how I imagined it, and then I tried to rescue it by like adding more decorations to it, but the more I added, the worse it got. And if I could go back and redo it, I would probably I might even fix it and just try to like take these stickers off and take this entire piece off if I can, or cut it off and then start over again, but and maybe like put a different thing on the bottom. But I might make a video on how I like rescue or redo cards that don't turn out well enough for me to want to send them out. So anyway, I think the idea was cute to have like this mama leopard and this baby leopard. Actually, I think they're two different animals, but they looked like they could be related. So welcome baby was the sentiment, and I was trying to apply that to this jungle theme card, and it didn't quite, turn out as expected. So that's sad, but it's the way it goes. This one, I just love, love, love this paper, and I needed to use it up. I had it already pre-cut, and the envelope was ready, so I just put some washi tape, some gold washi tape around this sentiment that was pre-stamped and stuck it on there. And to me, that looks very cute and magical and whimsical, so like I didn't want to take too much away from these beautiful little mermaid girls. So this one again is going to be a really simple card. I think I tend to go simpler on cards that I know I'm going to send to an older person or like a more middle-aged person, because I don't think that they really care as much about the decoration. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But this card is like geometric and simple. It could be for a guy. It could be for a girl. The gold accents make it a little bit sparklier and nicer, but at the same time it's still pretty simple. And I knew that I wanted to use this and keep it sort of geometric. I didn't want to do a flag, but I didn't want to like repeat this too much. I could have like angled this and angled this if I had planned it out ahead of time and when I was stamping it, but I didn't. So anyway, I just felt like it was going to need something else, and I added the washi. So again, I'm trying to use up my washi, and going back to that list, I'm trying to, use the items that are consumable, which are my washi tapes. I need to use more of those up. So that I'm happy with. Came out nice, looks nice. This one, I'm pretty happy with it. It could be for a good card for a guy, or, a younger, like a young man. But it's simple, but it still has some like sparkles and fun. And then the flag is kind of cool. And I'm tempted to fill in the happy here with color, but I think I might just have to leave it simple, because I feel like if I keep going, I'm just gonna mess it up, and just keep it simple. So all of these cards, the other thing I should mention is that all these cards are designed to be mailed, so I want to keep them flat. I don't want to pop anything up off this page, which is why the washi was another purpose built. To me, this card is so cute. This beautiful like watercolor paper in the background was just too simple, and I thought it needed something to spice it up, but it needs something here. And I think what I might do is like get a little circle punch, paper punch, and stick a little cupcake sticker in there, or like a cake sticker in there, so that it, or even like a little candle sticker in there, something just so that it's clear that it's a birthday, but it just is too empty right here, and I can't go back and cut it now that I've got it on the page, so it just needs to have some kind of an accent here. So when I come back and decorate this and put like glitter glue or something like that on some of the other cards, I'll figure out what I need to put here, but it needs something, and I just don't have that something handy at the moment. This one I'm pretty happy with. I think there's not much I would do to change this. If I was going to redo this card, what I would probably do is just, I don't know, like I'm not quite happy how this came out, but it doesn't look bad. But I probably would make it shorter, because I think there's just like a lot of empty space down here. Or instead of having empty space, maybe like put a little flower here. It could be a paper flower or something like that. Or like a brad or something, maybe just a couple of dots of sparkle glue, like glitter glue would be nice, but just something. It's empty. It's too empty here for me. It just looks really boring. So I can fix that. And then this one, very simple. The sentiment is already on the little postcard thing. It was already pre-cut like that. And I know that what I would want to do with this is either take my shimmer pen or my glitter glue and put some little like decorative accents on some of the llama's tassels, or like these cactus flowers, or maybe even like, you know, do something here like, you know, exclamation points or something around that. It just needs something. It's just too plain, but I think it's a really cute card. I think this would be a nice card just like as a hi friend, I miss you type of card. And if I was sending it to someone, if I was giving it to someone else for them to send, for them to use, I would probably put like a white liner in here so they can write on it. But if it was just me, I have like gold and bronze and silver Sharpies. I have white markers. I can write on the inside with no problem. But I'm happy with this. I think it just needs something. And most of these cards are like good enough. They just need something. Otherwise they're kind of going to be too boring and plain. But I'm happy with the way they turned out, all of them, except for this one notch. I think I can salvage. I'm just not sure how, but I will figure it out. And then I noticed as I was going through my cards, I have like a lot of similar, like, and I just kind of was like, I don't want to keep making the same of the exact, you know, same card layout, so I'll just come back and do it a different day. But you know, just different color backgrounds. I just don't want to keep repeating myself with the same exact card layout. And I feel like what I would do if I made the same exact pattern paper and the same exact stamp is I would just like duplicate what I just did, and then I'd feel like it's just mass producing cards, which isn't a bad thing, but that's not quite what I want to do. I want to make something that's like, okay, what did I not like about this layout and design, and let's like go back to the drawing board and figure out what I could do differently. Like maybe instead of having it be a banner, I should cut it out all the way, or I should put this sparkly tape behind it, the entire box, you know, and like layer it on top. So there's some things I can think about with that on the next card. Instead of doing it exactly the same, I have some wiggle room for how to play with it. Maybe instead of doing this as an angle, I would just keep it on the line, or put it down at the bottom, or put it up at the top in the center, or maybe I'll turn it sideways. I mean, there's a lot of things I could do there. So anyway, you get the point. What I'm saying is I don't want to just like mass produce and repeat a design I'm not already like, yeah, that's a perfect design, or I'm happy with it. This is just sort of like practice, like sketching, if you will, if you're an artist, if you're someone who draws. This is my sketching practice, and these cards are all functional and usable, but they are not like my masterpieces. These are just the practice ones. So they still look nice and they still are usable, but I'm, you know, not gonna like build my reputation or my brand on this. This is all stuff that's too simple and too easy to make, and not that it's like bad to have a simple card. It's just that it takes almost no thought or effort to cut the card stock down to fit an A2 card, stamp a sentiment, and slap it on there and call it done. I think it just needs to feel like, for me, it's creative and it's like exciting and interesting. I need to have more, and sometimes that more is like the decoration part of it. Like, this is my beginning canvas, and then I decorate it with like gems or glitter glue or ribbon or any number of things, like the stickers. So that's where I'm like, ooh, now I've like taken it up another level, or I've taken it up a notch with how it looks. And it started out kind of plain and boring, and now, you know, there's sequins, and that elevates it a little bit. So you know, sometimes I think what I might do is just say, like, pick a material that I'm like, I want to focus on using this material. In this case today, it was washi tape. I want to use some washi tape. So I just tried to think about ways to use the washi tape on the cards. And for some of these cards, like this card stock is too textured to put washi tape down smoothly. So I knew I couldn't really go in that direction. So I had to use this little scrap piece to land, to stick my piece onto. Otherwise it wouldn't have stuck. This one is almost too textured, but it worked out. And I think that having this layer and putting this sticker on top of it is not going to work out very nicely. It'll start peeling up or something. So, you know, that's how you learn. I'll figure it out. There was another card in here that, like, the washi tape was starting to come up a little bit, and I don't know if it's just because the washi tape is old or what, but yeah, I'm kind of worried about that. But I also think about, this is going to go through the mail once and get to its recipient once, and then they're going to look at it once, and then it's going to go in the trash, basically. So it doesn't have to last a super long time, is what I'm trying to say. It's got a short shelf life. So, but at least I have beefed up my stash of cards. I have some things that I can easily just grab and shoot into the mail when it's somebody's birthday. I have a nice guy card, which I've been wanting to have. I have another, like, gender neutral card. I guess I shouldn't say this is a guy color, but, you know, most of the guys in my life are not into the pinks and purples and glitters. So this is a good, like, gender neutral type of congrats card. I have some friends who just bought a house. This could be fun for that. So yeah, I feel like I've got a good starting point for anybody. You know, this could be a really cute birthday card. So I've got, for the most part, a good place to begin. This is my first 10 of my 1,000, so only 999 or 990 left to make. So just 990, no big deal. So I'm gonna try and keep up. I want to try and just like make a few every day with my stash, as obviously I have like a ridiculous number of them ready to go, mostly ready to go and just needing to be assembled. And it sort of feels like a daily practice, a daily sketch, just to get, you know, your juices flowing, get in the habit of it. So anyway, I hope you kind of enjoyed watching the process and my explanation of my kind of resolutions and the sort of introduction of my 1,000 card challenge. And I might end up making this my like a video, my intro video for my channel. We'll see. But I think it's nice for me to now kind of come back to this at the end of the year, circle back, or even just maybe quarterly check in and say like, okay, how am I doing on these things? But it'll be good to have sort of like this guiding principle behind everything I'm doing, so that every decision I make, every crafting decision I make goes back to, hey, does it help me use my stash supplies? You know, is this exhausting a consumable? If not, let's go back to the drawing board and pick something that's going to exhaust a consumable. Is it going to challenge me and develop my skills? Well, in this case, this is really part of more trying to create every day for these 10 cards, but I will get to the point where I'm challenging and developing my skills. I think this card is a challenge now to how do I rescue this card or fix this card and make it so that it could be sent in the mail. And I have an idea now, but now that can be another video. I'm like, what do you do when you mess up a card that you don't like? So anyways, I feel like this is going to help me stay true to what it is I'm trying to accomplish for the year with this particular creative endeavor or creative practice, I guess is what I would say. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that you've gotten something of value out of this, even if it's just to like watch me make the cards. Maybe you fast forwarded to that part. That's cool too. But I'm curious what other resolutions other creative people have and what you guys are doing to try and stick to your goals, your creative goals, or your personal challenges that you might be doing to try and either level up your skill or use up what you have or not buy new things or just get in the habit of practicing and creating things every day. So if you have something totally different from that, I'm curious what that is and what that looks like to you and what your kind of rules are, because everyone has sort of a loose structure to what they're doing. So hopefully this is giving you some inspiration and that you've been able to maybe this will encourage you to start your own challenge. Maybe not this year, maybe just for a month, maybe just for a quarter, but it might give you some ideas, some things that you can do. And my whole thing is that this channel is accountability, inspiration for other people, and a way for me to have a sort of outlet for myself, for my creativity. So it's like having a journal, but video form. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and let you go, and I'm going to go eat dinner now. So have a good night. Bye.